Greetings, everyone. It's another Monday morning, and we are so happy to be in your space once again to give God, the glory and the honor for all that He is doing. I am Shaylin Mitchell Berman. Today, it's another segment where we are featuring another widow in business, and it is to the glory of God that we are able to obey Him and this assignment and to just put this spotlight on these widows and widowers in business. Time to shine. And Tema International is a gift of love, divinely inspired, meeting the needs of widows and widowers everywhere. And so it's a great honor and privilege to have our guest today with us. She is a retired primary school teacher, Miss Virginia Pacifique Marshall. She resides in Torrelisa Gardens, Arima. After retirement, she decided to pursue her passion, and I like that word, her passion for art, starting with a basic, and you see how simple God can do it, a basic course in the fundamentals of fine art. She has exhibited yearly with the Women in Art organization since 2008. She also held her first solo exhibition on traditional carnival characters in 2002 at Normandy Hotel. And in 2014, launched her first book called The Carnival Suite, where all of her carnival collections are included, along with a brief history and description of each character. She has participated in several exhibitions at the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago and staged, a 5-member group exhibition titled Memoirs in 2018. A display of her artwork dating back to 2007 can be viewed at her home studio in Arima, where she welcomes art lovers, students, and collectors. At the end of our time together, I'll give you some contact information, and Miss Virginia as well will also share with you some contact information and even her Facebook information as well. But I also know her in another capacity as well, where she would have volunteered several times over and over again, where we would have hosted art camps for children of the widowed. And she would make her way down to Barrett area here and just come in and share and make these deposits into the lives of our next generation. Miss Virginia, it is a great honor and a privilege to have you in this space with us. This is a wonderful Monday morning, and it's just a time I'm excited about what you will share. I'm looking forward to hearing this journey of how it all began for you. So I'm going to mute my mic and welcome, and you go ahead and tell your story. Welcome.
Okay, greetings to all in the name of Christ. Well, being widowed for almost 20 years, I can speak now with no sadness, but gratitude and joy. My husband of 14 years died suddenly in 2005, 1 year after I retired from teaching. It was the most difficult period of my life, but luckily, I had just completed a 6-month course in the fundamentals of fine art. But in an effort to rise out of the clouds of grief, I knocked on many doors, all of which opened to me by the grace of God. Art, dance, travel, prayer, and study. I did a course in professional clinical counseling at level 1, among other things. However, though, I concentrated mainly on art and one dance session per week. But the one that had the greatest impact on me was dance. I can testify to the great therapeutic effect of both art and dance. When engaged in either of them, past time and future time cease to exist. There is only the now and the joy that comes in the now. As the months went along, I plunged deeper into art, working longer hours, mainly on abstract paintings, inspired by my readings. I created paintings depicting, for example, the delusion of separateness. Another, the unifying power of love. Just to name a few. Then, on the advice of master artist, the late Mr. Leroy Clark, I joined the Women in Art organization of TNT and began exhibiting with them in 2008. My first exhibition with them was a huge success. Imagine 5 out of 6 paintings sold. Beginner's luck, they say, but God is behind every success. In January 2010, I shifted my attention to our carnival expressions, mainly our culture. But my first attempt in the cultural area was traditional carnival characters. And you know something? That came about because I broke my toe and couldn't go anywhere in 2010. So it was January, and I started painting the carnival characters. I painted first a few of my own collections, my own ideas, and then I went into the traditional carnival characters. I painted 15 of them. And I held my first solo exhibition of this work at the Normandy Hotel in 2012. The response of the viewers inspired me to do some research on each of these characters, and along with pictures of my paintings, I created a book titled The Carnival Suite, which was launched at Nales in Port of Spain in 2014. But I didn't stop there. I had images of the characters printed on T-shirts, on cards, on cushions, on bags. I continued painting on the theme of festivals. I did festivals like Pagua, Diwali, Easter, the smoke ceremony, and the water ritual of our first peoples, and celebrations like that. And I made small prints and cards of the work. Then I started painting on stones. My hummingbird selection was the most popular on the stones. I had many opportunities to sell my work. Examples, the exhibitions put on by the Art Society and Women in Art. Also, fine art markets. also at various malls with a small group of artists. We decided to bring our art to the people. And we went as far south as C3 Mall. This venture to the malls was really appreciated by the people who passed by. Some of them said that they had never visited an art gallery and did not think that art was available. They thought it was only for the rich. The most memorable and profitable sale experience, however, was at Carifesta, that great show that Trinidad and Tobago hosted, Carifesta. I also sell from my home, which is transformed into a mini art gallery. My business name is Pacifique Fine Art. In 2016, I had a formal opening of my home studio with an exhibition and sale of original paintings, prints and cards, copies of my book, rock paintings, t-shirts, cushions, and bags. It was quite successful and well attended. Also, many students have interviewed me for their SBA. And I had a year's experience of teaching of 3 primary school students done at my home. And a challenging 9 months working with a Down syndrome young lady. That was a really great experience. And on her request, as soon as she came in, she said, Miss, I want to graduate, I want a graduation. And so I held a graduation function for her, made a hat, put all her works, I took down all my paintings in that section and I hung her work. And boy, she was so happy. When she entered the door, she just burst out in tears of joy. That was a wonderful experience. I thank God for. I have also given voluntary assistance as art tutor for the older children at the one-day art camps held by Tamar International. I enjoyed those too. And I also hosted some of the Tamar children at my home. And we did some stone painting. Wow, it was such a great experience. Visits to my studio are done by appointment. I thank God that over the years, the artwork has inspired students and others to have a greater awareness and love of art and to discover their own talents, overcome obstacles, and have a greater appreciation for the beauty of nature and our culture. This is briefly my journey through art, and my home is open, as I said, to visitors. I can be reached at 667-0539 or 460-8770. So you come by appointment and bring friends. Let us share the joy of art. My email is virmarshall40@gmail.com. I thank Tema International and Mrs. Beaumont for giving me this opportunity to share my little journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Virginia. Sorry about that, just a little technical difficulty there in getting the camera back on. You know how it can be with these equipment, but
Yes.
it's such a great honor to be a part of this journey with you. We started the arts camp, I'm trying to remember exactly when, probably back in 2014. Somewhere thereabouts or so.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact date, but nevertheless, you have been a part of our lives and you have allowed us to be a part of your life as well. And literally, when you gave account of us coming there and doing this stone work, the art and the stone work, you listen, she has a beautiful, I don't know if she has any remaining of it, but she has a beautiful collection of the birds and them. My goodness. But going back to our experience of seeing her art on the stones, we wanted to be able to pursue that with our children, and we had that opportunity. My paws raised, my heart melted when you reflected on that, Miss Virginia. Literally allowing us into your space as well. When we first visited, it was a wow, wow experience. Miss, you want to say something there?
Yes,
You muted back. You muted back.
yes. I remember the time we went to the botanical gardens and I sat
Yes,
down on the grass with the children and we did some work on stones. First, I
yes,
took them around to look and see if they
yes,
find something that they would like to paint on their stones. So that
yes,
was a nice experience.
yes. It really, really was. And it's one that not only impacted the children only, all, it also impacted parents of the children. And I remember a few years ago when we came, one of them in particular, she now serves as an advisor to the organization. She said, I want to be a part of this arts camp, you know. And she came in this space there, and we had a really, really wonderful time. Miss Virginia, thank you so much for imparting into the lives of so many young people. Janice, who has now gone on into her own aspect of the arts as well. She served with us for several years as a child care coordinator, Janice Lukai Selena. And, you know, because of that connection, we were able to embrace you as well. And she was able to blossom and find her footing in that area as well. So many lives you have touched, Miss Virginia. And we celebrate you. We shine the spotlight on you. We are so happy to know you and all that you have been doing over the years. Congratulations to you. I remember when you started off, even this morning, sorry, and you started to reflect on where it came from. And I'm so glad that now that you paint and you share your gifting with others, and it's not from a place of sadness anymore, but you know, God has allowed you to blossom in your giftings. Thank you so very much. Miss Virginia, is there something you would want to say in particular to the widowed who may be connecting with this particular segment, and they may be wanting to launch forth into a business or just, you know, find their footing? after the loss of a spouse? Is there something in particular you would want to say to them?
Well, the key to rising from the clouds of grief is to reach out to people, reach out and help somebody else, reach out and find your passion. There is something valuable that every human being can give. It is up to you, and by the grace of God, to find what it is you can do. So, like myself, you see how I went out and I tried all sorts of things, met people, dance, all sorts of things. Just keep active and keep praying and know that whatever happens, it is always the will of God. We don't move on our will, but God's will. Just open yourself and find that love, that spark that is in your heart to give to others.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Virginia. So, again, you heard her journey, and she continues to excel. She continues to do exhibitions. She continues to share her giftings and her abilities in the form of art. You can find your purpose as well. You can find your passion. And you don't have to begin with something too difficult, but that passion can grow as you leap out in faith. Today, she has her own studio, and it's in the comfort of her home, but she has taken her home space and make it into that studio space as well. And so it matters not so much what you have, but it matters what you are willing to sacrifice to see that passion grow, to see that idea, to see that dream come alive. And interestingly, our last guest began her business in her living room. So who says that you have to have that set location out there? You can have that, yes, if that's where you are being led. However, do not allow what you have presently available to you to hinder you from starting. Start where you are at. There is support available. Miss Virginia, I sense you want to say something else there.
Yeah. You know what I remembered? Just recently, Janine and her sister from Timor, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, Janice and Police.
Yes, they were at my sip and paint session
Yes.
recently in Center of, not Center of Excellence, but I can't remember the place right now. And I still have her painting, so I would have to call her and give it to her. She forgot it and I picked it up for her. So I was so happy to have her there. She did the painting, and her sister, who was one of my students at the art camp,
Right.
and her son.
Son.
Yeah. They painted on stone. So I was so glad to have them participate in our session.
Yes. Indeed, indeed. Ms. Virginia, please, I want to allow you again the opportunity to just share your contact information so
Yeah.
that persons who are wishing to schedule an appointment to come and view some of your work, because again, this is about supporting, this is shining the spotlight on the
Yeah.
widow in business. So can you please share your contact information with us again? Thank you.
Right. I can be reached at 667 0539 or 460 8770. And if you want to send me an email, my email, V as in Virginia, VIRMARSHALL 40 at gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Miss Virginia. So you will have gotten her contact information, of course, as well. The organization's contact. It's 1-866-791-2358. You are out there. You have a story to tell about your journey, even if you're a widow or a widower and you want to be featured on these segments for the month of May here with us. Time to shine the light on you. So again, it really was a joy having you today. There was something that just came to mind too, Anyhow, we will try to see how we can merge a couple, probably a few of your photos in light of this segment so that persons can see some of your work. But I trust me, you will not be disappointed. Of course, you can get some of our work on as postcards. You can get it as small painting sizes. You can get it larger sizes. I mean, there's a variety. Of course, you have the line of stonework and so much more. So please reach out to her and contact again. It's 667-0539 or 460-8770. Yes, it was a great honor having you, Miss Virginia, sharing your journey. And I wish you God's continued success and joy in all that you do and the blessing that you have been to many. Thank you so much. We are Tema International. Do not take lightly this group of people called the widow, and so we continue to support them. The vision, a gift of love, divinely inspired, meeting the needs of widows and widows everywhere. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Miss Virginia, I just remember in advance, I'm extending Mother's Day greetings. And by extension, those of you who would have celebrated Mother's Day and appreciating your mothers out there, we say to you from our home to your home, happy Mother's Day. I trust that you had a wonderful time of celebrating with your family. It's always a very special time when Mother's Day coming around. So God bless you. And again, happy Mother's Day to you. And we love you all. Goodbye, everyone. And thank you again, Miss Virginia. Bye.
Bye.